Now, prices on petroleum products are expected to dip by 3 pesos following the amendment of the bill on the special petroleum tax currently before the House. Well, there has been an acceptance of that motion that was seeking to reduce the tax from the current 15 to 13%. My colleague Elton Brobe has been speaking to Chairman of the Finance Committee, Mark Esibeyeboa. He said the drop in the price of crude in the world market is expected to cause a marginal decrease in the cost of petroleum diesel at the pumps.
Recall that in 2015, the NDC government introduced the special petroleum tax on the ex-depot price of petroleum products. Essentially, it was a VAT. It was 17.5%, but not to name it as such. They called it the special petroleum tax, 17.5%. And it really led to an increase in the price of petroleum products, so LPG, kerosene, diesel, petrol at the pump. So the ex-pump price also went up. Now, in the first budget of the MPP, there was a reduction. So in April, the government reduced the rate from 17.5% to 15% to bring some relief to consumers. Now, what the government seeks to do in this new amendment bill is that they are changing the tax from an ad valorem. An ad valorem would be like a per unit tax, so that if prices go up, then the rate that the tax that you pay would also go up. If prices fell, then the tax rate would also the tax paid would also come down. Now we are changing it from an ad valorem to a specific one, so that regardless of the price increase or decrease, what you pay stays the same. So some values have been quoted in the bill, and we worked on that at committee yesterday. This was brought under a certificate of emergency. I think everybody recognizes the urgent nature of this because prices have been skyrocketing, more so because the price on the international market, crude, it went up to about 65%. As at yesterday, it's come down to about 58%. So now if you make it a specific tax, then what consumers pay at the pump will not be changing when the prices go up. So that's what we have done at committee, and we are going to present the report and take the bill. So if the president assents to it today, then the next window starts tomorrow, which is 16th February, the next pricing window. If we're able to get everything done today, then we have to see some marginal decrease in the prices of petroleum products beginning tomorrow. That's if all the motions are gone through today. Right. Otherwise, then whatever we do now would only kick in the next pricing window, which starts in March. So that's
so basically, if you can break it down for me, for the consumer who is much concerned about the rise in price of petroleum products, will this see a significant reduction in terms of percentage-wise as far as the levy is concerned? How do you explain this to somebody who is not abreast with the technicalities?
If we kept prices where they are now, 1 liter of petrol sells at 4.67 pesos. 1 liter. Diesel is also 4.67 pesos. If we didn't bring this amendment and things stay the same, because there's a drop in the international price of crude, then we would have seen a marginal decline from 4.67 to about 4.58. To about 4.58. With this new specificity being introduced into the tax, if this should kick in immediately, we should see a decline to about 4.5 on the 4.6. In total, then we are looking at a saving of about 70 pesos per gallon.
My colleague Elton Brobe is joining me from Parliament Live, where the debate, ended a while ago. Elton, if you can hear me, help me to understand and help our viewers to understand this better. Since you've been there, you have a better understanding. What this means is that there's only a 3 peso reduction from the 57 pesos VAT component, or tax component, I should say.
Yes, of course. I mean, what they did today was to reduce part of the special petroleum tax. And this special petroleum tax, this was implemented in 2015 when the NDC government, put VAT, if you like, on pricing of petroleum products. So this is 17.5%. When the NPP came to power, they reduced it to 15%. Now, what they've done today is to further reduce it mathematically from 15 to 13%. And the overall, component of this special petroleum tax on the price build-up is just 57 pesos. That is, if you want to take a liter of, for example, super, 57% is the tax component of the special petroleum tax, and that is what they've reduced it by 2%, if you like, and that will give you around 3%. And this is what they did in Parliament to do. So it is just the special petroleum tax that has seen a reduction of a sort.
Right.
But the other tax components on it, that one, it wasn't touched at all.
Okay, so what I'm trying to understand and to get our viewers to appreciate is how much, if this should reflect at the pumps at all, how much really is being taken away from how much people are supposed to pay?
So perhaps a simple mathematics reduction may help in here. What they've done with this law or with this amendment that has been passed by Parliament, petrol prices from tomorrow, that is if the president is able to assent to it today, and then the next pricing window, which is tomorrow, kicks in with this reduction. The current rate at which we are buying a liter of fuel, which is 4 Ghana cedis, 57 pesos per liter, it will reduce to 4 Ghana cedis, 51 pesos per liter. That is for fuel, from 4 Ghana cedis, 57 per liter to 4 Ghana cedis, 51 per liter. And for diesel, from 4 Ghana cedis, 48 pesos per liter to 4 Ghana cedis, 67. From 4 Ghana cedis, 67 per liter to 4 Ghana cedis, 48 per liter. That's for diesel. Let me go over it again. For the price of diesel, at the moment, it is being sold at 4 Ghana cedis, 67 pesos per liter.
Okay.
With the amendment approved by Parliament, and if everything goes well, you will buy fuel at the pumps tomorrow at 4 Ghana cedis, 48 pesos per liter. So that is the difference for the simplest form I can bring it.
Okay, that looks pretty much like a 9 peso removal from how much people are going to, or deduction from how much people are going to have to pay at the pumps. But let's go back to Parliament and look at the debate and the process. It appears that the Minority Chief Whip, Muntaka Mubarak, wasn't quite excited about how the process went in Parliament. What was his concern?
Well, his concern had to do more with quorum. At the time, the Speaker was going to put the question on the passage of the amended bill. Muntaka Mubarak, who is the Minority Chief Whip, rose on a point of order indicating that the House was not up to the numbers required to pass this particular law. With an amendment of this nature, the House requires at least the quorum should be 1/3 of all members of Parliament. 275 members of Parliament, the quorum should give you around 72.3%. Of 275, a quorum that is required for Parliament to transact business is 1/3 of it, and that is 92.3 of all members of Parliament present. At the time the question was going to be put, according to Muntaka Mubarak, the number of MPs who were on the floor were not up to 92 required for a quorum for any business to be transacted on the floor of Parliament. Unfortunately, his intervention came in at the time the Speaker had already put the question and the House had adopted it. So it was late in coming. Eventually, he had to advance his issue on the floor of Parliament, but because the question had already been put, it would not amount to anything. And that also gave rise to the minority leaders, concern. He didn't come to raise issue with quorum. He wanted to move the issue back to second reading. Second reading means that I have identified something fundamentally wrong with the document before Parliament of Ghana, and it is my express opinion that a second consideration of the bill will address the anomaly I'm about to raise. And that is normal with parliamentary practice. But usually, if you want to take a bill through second reading, you can only do so before the passage of the bill. That is at the third reading. At the third reading, there's no issue of debate. There's no issue of the Speaker entertaining any view on the matter, because at that time, it is assumed that all the issue had been adopted during the consideration stage. Unfortunately, the Speaker put the question for the third reading, and once the question is put for the third reading, the question is only put, and then matter is adopted or approved by Parliament, the question had already been put. The minority leader was on his feet, demanding that the matter be taken to second reading. We had long passed that particular stage. Unfortunately, he will not be recognized by the Speaker. He was on speak for almost 6 minutes. The majority leader came on his feet. He was recognized, and that brought about the issue about unfair treatment being given to members on the minority side.
This looks like very interesting development in Parliament today. But Elton, let me just find out from you quickly. What are they? Briefly, tell us what the key arguments were on both sides and how they fit into the final decision that was taken today.
Well, as far as the issue that they debated is concerned, there was no dissenting view. Even though for the minority side, government reduction will be insignificant as far as the matter in question is. They actually wanted a total withdrawal of the special petroleum tax, which according to them would have impacted, positively on the lives of people who depend solely on petroleum products for their businesses. But the majority argument is that this is a gradual process. Indeed, as you may be aware, one of government Eurobonds that it had already issued, the proceeds or government premise it on money they were hoping to derive from the ESCA, that's the energy sector bond, and they are looking at monies they are hoping to get from the imposition of this special petroleum tax. So removing it outright will also create some problem for government. Government also concedes that even with this 2% reduction that they got Parliament to approve, they will be losing an estimated 47 million Ghana cedis annually from government revenue, because this is how much they would have gotten from if they are not touched the petroleum, the special petroleum tax. So both sides of the coin, the minority guys are of the view that you can do more than what you did. The majority side is saying that this is a gradual process. Now that it is no longer a percentage, but rather a rate, if fuel prices should go up, it will not automatically affect what you will buy at the pump.
Okay. Elton, thank you so much for that update. Elton Brobe there, our presidential affairs correspondent, but also in Parliament for us today. In fact, he's been a parliamentary correspondent for long. He understands the process in depth. Duncan Amwa is the Executive Director of COPEC, one of the organizers of a recent demonstration seeking to get government to reduce the prices of petroleum products. Duncan, you're welcome, and thank you very much for your time now. This is quite an insignificant reduction. Does it give you any happiness as someone who has just recently led a demonstration asking for a reduction in the taxes?
Let me say good afternoon to you and to your viewers. Indeed, the gesture is a good one. The impact, like you did indicate, quite insignificant. All in all, we would still say thank you to the Honorable Kwaku Singh and his team. Something has been done. We were expecting a lot more to have been done. And so just like a section of the public, we were hoping to get a complete scrapping of the special petroleum tax. What we are also mindful about is that government might need some of the revenues. The review from what we expected, if anything at all, should have been around 20 pesos per litre. But if you look at the bill I have in front of me, it is rather reducing from the 4 cedis 67 pesos for petrol to 4 cedis 62 pesos, meaning about 15 pesos therein, and then 4 cedis 67 for diesel to about 4 cedis 48 pesos, also representing about 18 pesos to 19 pesos reduction per litre. It might not be that bad, but obviously a lot more could have been done. What Ghanaians are looking to see, what COPEC would be looking to see, is the net impact on pump prices effective, immediate. And then I'm sure if it serves our collective interest as a people, be happy that the government did listen and done something about this. But any attempt to increase further will be seriously resisted.
Well, what we're expecting at the moment is for the president to give accent, and then from then we'll be able to see whether or not it's reflecting at the pumps.
If you look at the document that has been sent to Parliament and which has received the amendment, it is expecting that for petrol, we'll be seeing about 1.3% reduction, while diesel will do about 2.63% reduction. What it means is that if the president assented tomorrow, we should see prices come down. But again, this current window also experiencing some drop on the international market, and we would want to see how the two together will give us some relief. But any attempt, like we did indicate, to also sit and watch oil prices go up, be it tomorrow, be it next week, be it 2 weeks from now, will be resisted once again. What we were seeking for, I'm sure if had been a seed, maybe we could all go to sleep. But this is a chicken and egg situation. One must come before the other. The government says it cannot scrap completely everything. We do share some of their sentiments completely, but we would have also wished to see something significant. The levels we are seeing now is not that significant, but it's welcome.
Okay. Duncan, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Duncan Amwa, the Executive Secretary of COPEC, the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, and that he's welcoming the move, but obviously they had expected a complete removal of that tax component, just like the minority's position was in Parliament today. You're still watching The Pulse with me, Gifty Ando, up here.